What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV and back to the Invincible podcast. My debut on the Invincible podcast. Robbie is not here. I don't know if Lee and Julian are happy about they seem happy about that. But obviously introducing the two guests of the show. I'm going to guess the guest today, but Lee.
Yeah, hello. It's lovely to have you here, like, you know.
Are you sure?
Yeah, without a doubt. But before we start, you know, you missed out.
What do you mean I missed out?
Well, you missed out.
On what?
I went round good old mate Julian's for lunch the other day.
Where was my invite?
And we had a lovely lunch, didn't we?
Wait, who cooked the lunch?
Well, I had a little help. You might want to have a look at the ad.
He said to me during the game, why can't he be a ball boy?
Because I understand the game better than the ball boys. Saka, ball boys can have an effect
Martinelli,
on the game. Rice, you can actually have an effect on the game.
Oh, mate. Listen, you're going to have to stop eating those takeaways if you want to become a ball boy at the Emirates.
My girlfriend left me because I was spending too much time with you watching Arsenal and I can't cook.
And that's why I'm here, Julian, to say goodbye to the meal planning stress and hello to the delicious, easy-to-make meals delivered right to your doorstep with HelloFresh. You'll get over 100 mouth-watering recipes to choose from every month, mate.
For Robbie, that's just one day.
Oh, you said that, not me. Whether you're craving a classic fish and chips feeling adventurous with a chicken tikka or keeping it light with a fresh salad, HelloFresh has got it covered for you.
Scan the QR code on screen or use code HELLOAFTV. 60% off your first order, plus 20% off for the next 2 months, plus free dessert for life.
With HelloFresh, not only do you get convenience, but you also get peace of mind knowing that your meals are made with quality ingredients, sourced fresh just for you. Well, I really enjoyed that. That was very nice.
Yeah, it was great. Really hit the spot.
Well, as impressive that was, Cecil, what do you reckon?
I mean, it was all right. It was good. No, it was good. The ball boy thing is ridiculous. But yeah, it did look good. A massive thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Click the link below and scan the QR code on screen to use code HELLOAFTV for 60% off your first box and 20% off for the next 2 months. And free dessert for life, which I know Julian loves a dessert. Chocolate, to be specific. But yes, it's good. Big up HelloFresh.
I'll tell you this now, like, you know, I said, should we have these? Like, he went, no, leave them there. You know, he wanted them all for himself, but like, he did. That was genuine.
Did you save any for Robbie? Because he's gonna obviously want some. Did you save any for him, or bring him any today?
I did have the intention of saving them for him, but they tasted so good that they're currently in my stomach.
You done it for Robbie, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it for Robbie.
Oh, you did it for the greater good.
I did it for the greater good.
The health of Robbie, we done it for.
And also, you had to cook them for 12 minutes, which is fine. So they were hot desserts, hot chocolate desserts.
Which is your favourite, isn't it?
It is my favourite. Yeah, amazing.
Do you know what? I'm going to enjoy today's show, I feel like, because we spend a lot of time together. We do a lot of trips. It's funny enough, you mentioned it was our last away trip. We went to United, and actually a bit sad on the way back coming home from there. I know we won the game, so that was obviously a good result, but on the way back to think of that, this whole season, this is the last one until we go on tour, which I cannot wait for. So yeah, it's been good. And do you know what? Funny enough, yesterday, guys, I don't know if you saw this, on Arsenal's YouTube channel, they were playing back the Invincibles. They were going back through the whole season. They were doing a season review of the Invincible year 20 years ago and every game. And I thought it was so fitting that I'm going to be, covering Robbie today. I was going through some of the games and just, there were some things that stuck out. Thierry Henry, like when they said, if you have him in his team, if you have Thierry Henry in your team, you have a chance. And he was just phenomenal. And I know I always speak about him, he's my favourite player, but even the likes of Edu as well, coming up with some of the goals throughout that season. There were some Champions League games. There was a win on my birthday against Leeds away, November 1st. I don't know if it pops up in mine, I think it was 5-1.
Yeah,
I've got a vague recollection it was 4-1, but I could be wrong.
Oh, actually? You might. In fact, I watched it back in
it was 5-0 at home, wasn't it, or something?
No, I think I was at that game.
It was 4-1 on my birthday, apologies, yeah, but then they won.
Okay.
Again, against
5-1 or 5-0 in the home game when Omri that day was just unplayable.
Yeah,
just unplayable.
It just feels like then, especially watching football at that time. Listen, we talk about the teams right now, the cities, treble winners, whatever. But that time there, it just felt like every time Arsenal was on the attack, they were going to score. It was unbelievable.
Do you know what's just a funny thing? Because you never really appreciated it at the time. I remember the 0-0 against Portsmouth. We drew 0-0 at home. And me and my dad were talking and moaning about it and all that. And it weren't till years later that we turned around. I'll never forget, my dad turned around and said, do you know what? We didn't realise or appreciate how good Arsenal Football Club were at that moment in time. But you live with it game by game, week by week, don't you? And I think this season's been the same. I don't think we realise how good Arsenal have been this season, even though it's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what kind of happens, isn't it? Like when you're watching a season, you're in it, you're immersed in it.
Yeah, you're in it.
You forget like those 5-0s, those 6-0s, those 4-0s. You might bring them up, but this team's been so good this season, and we're probably going to overlook it. Like again, when I was watching through some of the Invincible games, I was like, San Siro 5-1 against Inter Milan. I was like, what the hell? Like
we lost 3-0 at home.
Yeah, we lost 3-0.
Yeah, but the away game was amazing.
Yes, it was amazing.
Red hot foot. Like I was like,
we had to win that game, didn't we?
Yeah.
To get through, and we just breezed it.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting to kind of bring that up because I was watching, I was thinking, wow, like how amazing that team was, and I was so young at the time. But to be on this podcast and go back, I know you guys lived through all that as well. But let's get into kind of what happened this week. You was on the pray along, a new format, shall we say? There's hate alongs, there's watch alongs, but the pray along, we put all our hope and faith.
How I got roped into that, I don't know. So worse, it was.
Did you actually enjoy doing it?
No.
Did you not?
I didn't enjoy the game. It was a funny situation. Do you know what? I get why the Spurs fans have been like what they have been. I get all of that because of the rivalry and everything like that. But I didn't enjoy the game. I actually thought Spurs played well. I've got to say that, But you're cheering. You're not cheering, but you're wanting a team to do well, which you want to lose every single game they play in. It was a very, very funny situation. And when Song went through, it was the title there and then in his hands, if you like. But listen, I will say this, and people have been saying about he's deliberately missed it. He don't miss that. He missed a very, very good chance against us at home when he went through. Do you remember when he blazed it over the bar? Yeah. The guy's not in good form. In fact, a lot of Spurs fans and a few of my mates have been saying that maybe his time at Tottenham's up.
Really?
So,
wow,
really.
And he's captain.
He's 31.
Okay.
And his performance on the day was poor.
He
was poor against Arsenal. He ain't got a penalty against Arsenal. Been interesting if it was a penalty. That would have been say if they got a penalty.
Would he have missed it?
Then it would have been an interesting thing. But they had a. I'll tell you what, and I mean this. I don't think it would have finished 1-1 at that moment. I think there was 10 minutes injury time. There was another 5. Both teams, 1-1 wasn't good enough. So they would have both really gone for it, and it'd been interesting to see what would have happened after that. But
that's a good point.
If he scores that, I honestly believe, and if Tottenham go on and win that, Tottenham will be in Champions League next season. So when people say, he deliberately missed it, I know what Song would rather be playing in Champions League or Europa League, and I know what all those players were. And I have to say, I get it from the fans, Tottenham give them a really good game. A really good game. They did. Better than what a lot of teams have done in the past. So, and that's the fact of the matter is that they're not good enough to beat Man City.
And you knew that before. I
said that before.
You did say that. I thought that as well. But be honest, half time. What was the
feeling? Do you know what? At half time,
be real, because I was sitting at home thinking.
I did think at half time, they could do us a favour. I did think that. I because they'd played really well. You have to look on it. They could have been 2-0 down in that first half. Fantastic save from the keeper and the heading off the line, and maybe could have gone in front themselves. I just felt that it could happen. It could happen. Once Man City scored, that was it for me. Yeah. But that chance did come.
Yeah, but you mentioned that Spurs weren't good enough to beat Manchester City, and they never have been. But they have been good enough the last few seasons to beat them at home.
That's true.
And that those were the first goals that Manchester City have actually scored at their stadium. And in my mind, there's no doubt that the Spurs team made every effort to win that game and do as well as they could do, because as you quite rightly said, for them, what's more important than Arsenal not winning the league is for them to get Champions League football, because unlike ourselves, we have a different passion towards it, but this is their career, and their career to progress and for their salaries to progress, because they're all professionals, is dependent on Champions League football, which they're now not going to get. So I had no doubt that the Spurs players will put every effort in. But when you get to this levels, it's small margins. And there's a very good reason why home form and home statistics are greater wins for the home teams. And that has to be because of the crowd. Because when you look at COVID behind locked doors, the statistics were pretty much similar. So,
well, this is where it gets a bit different, because obviously the crowds, I think, you play a part. Not they're different to the players on the pitch. You're right. I think the players are going for top four and give their all. The fans in the stadium, I mean, I heard every fan was singing Arsenal. Are you watching? From to City to the Spurs fans, like it's a very weird dynamic. And do you know what? I said to Rob, I was with him yesterday, we went to a college and we spoke, I said, I understand it on the day. I understand them wanting to stop their rivals within the league, but it's kind of feel like it's prolonged. I've seen some shameless stuff. Even to this day, I have Spurs fans saying, you're not going to win it now because of us and all of that. And they're enjoying that they lost to Man City. I don't think I could ever do that as a fan. I wouldn't have went to the game if the shoe was on the other foot, but I'd have enjoyed it at the moment. But now I think they're so shameless, the fact that, they're happy that their team have lost and they're out of top four, and obviously stopped us, but I find it ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're not really happy, because that's all they've got to cling on to. And I sincerely believe that the difference could well have been the lack of atmosphere in that stadium, because that's what gives the edge in those situations. Because Spurs have been a similar team, and Manchester City have been a similar team over the last few seasons, and Spurs have gone on to win those games and not even concede. So to me, the only difference this season to the seasons before was the crowd and the lack of atmosphere there.
Yeah. The other thing is, and I'm not knocking Spurs for it, because I've been supporting Arsenal all my life. I've never ever had that, what's the word, situation where I've wanted Arsenal to lose a game of football.
But that's because Spurs have never been in the position that Arsenal were in, because they've never been a genuine threat. And the only time they were a genuine threat was 11 seconds of my life, which, I can relate to how they've felt for so many years, for that 11 seconds.
Well, it weren't. It was more than that. It was from the semi-final on to that.
Yeah,
final.
when they went through.
I was only fretting, really.
No, Julian. If you weren't worried, I remember from that semi-final to that final, when they lost that game, there was a relief. My life was back. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. It was they've had it.
But personally, the reason why I say it was 11 seconds for me, because my focus was on Arsenal in Baku up to that point, because we still had something to go for. Yeah. And once we lost that final, then I started concentrating on them.
Yeah, that was a stressful time.
But listen, the one thing I will say about this, and and I laugh at Spurs fans when they turn around and say, well, we didn't want Champions League football and we're not ready for it and all that. 2 years ago, I walked out of their stadium. It was empty around the roads, wasn't it? Because they was all celebrating in the concourse that they'd got Champions League football when they beat us. Champions League football and all that, And then roll it on 2 months later, or 2 years later, sorry. They're celebrating because they've lost, because they haven't got Champions League football. So realistically, what were they celebrating that night was they got one over the Arsenal.
That was it, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they celebrated them losing because it got something over the Arsenal. But at the end of it, were they ready 2 years ago for Champions League? Not really. Were they ready for, when are you ready and when you're not ready for it? And at the end of it, one thing I do think with Spurs fans, and I'm not being bitter when I say this, and I'm certainly not let's look at it. Tottenham were the team that with the most points at the beginning of the season to not get Champions League football. It's a horrendous drop off.
Yeah.
by a scale not for any team to get into the Champions League. It's a record. You know, they should have got in it. Now, Tottenham fans, and whatever way you want to look at it and all that, like, you know, after 10 games, they were celebrating that they think that they can win the league. They was all believing this is our turn. We got Ange ball. This is going to take us to the title. Then they dropped off. Yeah, but realistically, it's all about Champions League football for us. That's what we, you know. I've had it all of them. We'll get to the Champions League and all that and that. Now, now we'll take Europa League. You know, so there you go. But at the end of it, I'm not knocking their fans for what they want to do. One of my mates who's a Tottenham fan, he done exactly. He messaged me on the day and he said, "Look, I'm not going because I don't want us to win tonight, so I'm not going."
Yeah, you saw Ange was quite annoyed at some of the fans. They had an argument with one of the fans during the game. I think they're obviously trying to tell them not to win the game, which again, I understand at the moment, but also I wouldn't have been in the stadium to watch that at all. And then you saw some fans trying to do the Poznan as well when City scored, which, by the way, that for me was that's too much.
Listen, and I've got to get this out. I understand that. But there's no way I could celebrate Arsenal losing a game of football. There's no way I could cheer him with a bunch of fans like Manchester City are. Yeah. Right, at the end of the day, and in fairness, they can celebrate and jump all as much as they like. But the fact of the matter is, if they haven't been doing what they're doing, perhaps it would have been Tottenham in the Champions League. So, you know, you celebrate with a team that's just cost you £67 million. That's up to you, exactly, right? That. And also on the same note, if Spurs would have won that game or drawn that game, I wouldn't be singing Spurs songs and cheering Spurs and wouldn't be wearing a shirt and everything like that. You know, genuine. What you think of it? Genuine Spurs fans were wearing Man City shirts and things like that.
Crazy.
That, when you think about it, that's what Arsenal Football Club have done to them.
That's what that game was, though. That's what that game was.
That is what supporting Spurs has done to them.
It's sort of focused
made them put on different shirts, sing songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, one of my mates texted with Blue Moon, "We've got this today, boys. Don't worry."
Yeah,
like,
they were sitting there playing Blue Moon. I said I did a space that day on Twitter.
That is what, you know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They've never done that to me. I'll never sing Spurs songs or wear a Spurs shirt, everything like that. And listen, I've wanted Spurs to win more than just on the other game. There's been times when they've played Man United, we've wanted to win. It's been a long few times.
And they actually scored.
And next season, by the way, I want Tottenham to beat Manchester City twice. Again. But I won't be cheering about it. I won't be wearing Tottenham shirts and putting up a blue and white scarf and all things like that.
It's crazy.
So at the end of it, there's get the perspective of it all. Like, don't want your team to win, but the way they celebrated it, that's where I think was a little bit.
They build the game basically around us. Like, I think you went on TV and spoke about, or I know James got on TV. I saw Pippa do, I think it was ITV, Sky Sports, I think you did something with them as well, asking about, you know, the Arsenal perspective of this game and will you be watching, how important it is for them. So it did feel, and I even heard Ange actually, he went and he went with the Sky Sports, he went on the panel and he said that like all eyes are on this game, and I was like, the reason for it is because really it's because of us and obviously City as well. It's for the title, really, as much as
that's what it comes down to do with Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly.
That they were particularly irrelevant. Yeah. In the same way that West Ham now has got to be the focus.
Yeah, exactly that. Which we're going to probably lead on to that in a second. But I do want to talk. There's things going online about the VAR. VAR not checking the offside for Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Do you think the goal was offside, or Arsenal fans clutching a little bit of straws here?
Listen, VAR, right, is an absolute. I don't know if you see it yesterday.
We don't get to vote, but there is a vote to see.
I'm voting for it now. Like, do you know? I don't know if you see the game. Like, Anthony Gordon is completely taken out in a penalty yesterday, and it's a stonewall penalty, and they don't get involved. It is rubbish.
Yeah, when it's slowed down, you see it.
It's not bad. VAR, it's just the people that are running it are useless.
So what would you vote then? Both of you. So what would you? Because
I'm voting for it out.
Really? Because I think little tweaks can make it work. I think you're right. There's competent people, but I think the change they're bringing in the one where it's more 3D when it comes to the offside ruling next season, which I think is good. They need to get goal line technology across everywhere, or on the line technology, wherever the ball's out. They need to get that across everything. That needs to be added. But to vote it, you're saying completely out.
Do you know what I would do if I'd be really honest? If I can get the offsides done, right? Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what they do. Anyone that
And
says
anything else, I don't want anything else. If you
look,
like.
see, anyone that says they want rid of it is a Luddite. You cannot go back.
No, that's true.
You cannot go back. It's like saying, right, mobile phones, we're not going to have them anymore.
It can't happen.
The technology, let's be realistic. The technology is there. It's going to be improved. As you said, it's not the concept. When you look at what VAR has done and the benefits, there are far less bad decisions now because they get to have a second and third look at it. So they're going to make less mistakes. That's just rational thinking. As you said, it's still got.
But they're still getting it wrong.
You're still getting it wrong, but they're getting it less wrong. You look at the goal line technology. There's only been one instance since it came in.
But you need facts, Julian.
that they got it wrong. It is facts and technology.
Penalty is not facts.
Yeah, but technology enhances decisions. So they're going to make
you
better
still want it
decisions.
for penalties and things like that, and other decisions, red cards.
I want it for everything because
Why?
we've got.
Why do you want it for
everything?
that? Because it's not fact. It's not fact, is it?
It is fact, but
listen, me and you
it helps
can
them.
argue about a penalty.
Yeah.
So it's not fact.
not fact,
What
yeah.
I'm saying about VR, if it's offside, you know it's offside. It's a fact. If it's a goal line, it's a fact. That's where it's cricket. It's a fact. You know what I mean? Like the ball hits the stumps or whatever. When you got the decision like if it is it ascending? Me and you could argue about is it ascending off
and
or
we
it's
can
not.
have a much more informed argument if we can see it a number of times. So when we see it in the stadium, so many times we see it, so especially when we're at away games, the views aren't the best. Depending on, it depends on which stadium you're at. But I've been in stadiums where you've had a post in your way one side and someone 6'4" the other side, and I can't see anything. Even when I'm at Arsenal, pretty much on the halfway line, the view that I've got and seeing it in that split second isn't going to allow me to have an informed argument with you, as well as if I've got to see it three or four more times.
On the telly afterwards.
Yeah, but that's exactly my point. Once I've seen it on the telly after, I can have a more informed view of arguing. I still might, but I still might get it wrong.
I'm going to argue with you there because it's not about informed views. It's not about that.
Of course it is.
It's
You're
when
going to be able to
you're a
make better
referee,
decisions.
when you're a referee,
but you can still
or
get it
you're
wrong.
watching
But
something.
you're more-
Let me finish now, love. I've had enough of you. All right.
on.
When you're having a referee, right?
Siding with him.
When you're a referee, you might, me and him might have see the same foul.
Have different opinions.
And they have different opinions. It doesn't matter how many times you see it, how many times you don't. It is a different opinion. It's not a fact. And that is what happens with a decision. We've done it this season when we've seen the Havertz penalty or free. Or right, let's go on to the Saka sending off. Did you think it was a sending off against Brentford? Was it Bournemouth, the tackle? Over the top.
Yeah.
Oh, the knee when he kicked it.
And this is an excellent example to counter your own argument because at the time I didn't see it. You're. I'm
not talking about you. We're
Yeah,
not.
we're
talking about you're a referee in the VAR.
But you are talking about
No,
me
I'm not.
because you said that me and you can have different
No,
opinions.
but I'm
and what I'm
talking
saying is that
about a
I can
referee.
have a more informed decision if I've seen it three or four
I'm not talking
times.
to him no more because
But-
I'm
but
talking
right.
about two referees
Yeah, because he
are
sat
in a
in a
VAR
room, yeah.
booth, right?
Yeah.
Forget it's me and him. Two referees.
He's changing it now.
Right? No, I'm talking
you said
about
me and you.
because you're not listening to the argument. One referee, right? Me and Julian will look at that and go, yeah, that's a sending
back
off.
to us now.
Right. The other referee will go, it's not a sending off. So when you're in the booth, that referee that day sends him off. The referee on another occasion goes, no, it's
play
not.
on, yeah.
So that's where it's not right. So it's not fact.
It's not good. It's
That's
an
what I'm
opinion
saying.
on the game, yeah.
But you're not going to get. We're not
Even
looking,
if there is rules.
Look, you're always striving for perfection, but to be able to see it 3, 4, 5 times is going to give you a more informed decision. You're less likely to get it wrong.
That is
if
true,
you've
but
seen
it
it
doesn't
more
make-
I
times.
get that. But VAR should be for fact. The reason goal technology works because it's a fact
Yeah,
whether the
goes
ball
across
goes
the
over the
line, yeah.
line or not. Offsides, I think at the end of the day, when you look at an offside, they're millimetres.
They are making it's a bit murky though
It's
because
gonna
they're
be-
saying
I know,
now
I
they
agree with
want
that.
to put the advantage into the attacker if it's not if you can't score with a certain part of your body.
If you're being honest, right? If I was doing in charge of VAR and he's my assistant, like, and I goes that offside, and he goes, I've just got to get me ruler out and lines out. It's a goal. I don't want all that. But at the end of the day, it's still a fact. In tennis, right?
Yep.
The reason it works is because it's ball out and ball in, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's fact, and it brings a good thing to it.
All right, I think you've made your point. Who do you agree with, Cecil?
I'm going to be the judge, the jury here, okay?
Yeah.
Well, so you-
Look, Cecil's talking now.
Taking VAR out or not?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I said no. I said no
it's
straight away
black
and you
and
said
white
yes.
as in or out.
As a fan, I totally agree with Julian.
Great.
It's staying, right? It's staying.
gonna stay.
Because he makes a great point.
But it needs
can't go
tweaks,
back.
though.
They
Yeah, it
need
does
to
need
sort of
tweaks,
but
but it's still
if you want
improved.
me as a fan, right? As a proper fan, because he's not a proper fan, right? You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
proper
at the end of the
Arsenal.
day, proper fan. If you want to be it as a fan,
Are you proper Arsenal?
I think it takes out the enjoyment of being a fan. Like, you have to stop celebrating for goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're going
Things
to go,
like that.
if you're gonna
That-
do that,
so
but
we're not-
there's loads of things I'd change then to go back to the old days. 'cause
there's loads of things to change.
Yeah,
to
but
make
they're
it.
not. But that's.
But
they're
do
gonna
you
reverse
enjoy it
back
as a
in
fan?
time.
I watch championship games, right? As a fan, they're so much better to watch because you know if it's a goal, even if it ain't, it's a goal.
Yeah.
You celebrate and all that.
But
there's
then
been times
the
when
flip side to that, you'd be the first to go mental if we had a goal ruled out that shouldn't have been,
Yeah,
or
and
that the
I-
other
I-
team,
Ju-
and you'd be
Julian,
going ballistic.
Julian, and I accept that, and I for years have had to accept that.
Yeah.
But I tell you what's worse. What's worse when I see that, and for instance, I forgot to put the lines in, and we miss out on a goal. It's 10 times worse now if they make a mistake. Because there's no human error no more.
But there's,
Yes,
there's
is.
less mistakes.
There
There's
is.
less mistakes.
Is
They have less mistakes with VAR.
Oh, well, do they?
Yes,
There's a lot of mistakes that you.
but they
can
have
bring
less
up.
mistakes.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
but it's taken away from the game at times as well. The weight. I don't know.
Yes,
It depends.
it is the weight, and that's what I would want to improve on. If there are decisions that are so close, let the referee decide there and then, because it takes
That's
that joy,
another great
it takes,
point.
takes
Yeah,
that
it should be
joy
just-
out.
it should be-
I think that listen,
If they're
another
gonna
one.
look
Let's
that
go on
hard-
another one. Declan Rice's penalty against Spurs, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Spurs penalty. Oliver is here to me away from you to see that it's a stone wall
It's a
penalty,
100%.
right?
Boots him,
the
yeah,
reason he
100%.
probably doesn't give it because he thinks to
see it.
himself. Well,
don't
Julian,
think he
if
saw
he
it.
does not
No,
see
he
that,
stood in front of
come
it.
on, he's a referee standing right there. Have
Well,
a
it
look
was a
at it.
Stonewall penalty.
It's just- and he's standing right there. But I think in his mind, I don't really want to
Not
give
to
that.
give it, yeah.
But VAR will back me up.
Yeah, they'll be. I reckon they're talking to him, by the way, saying we saw that. You might want to.
So
bring
he's
up
not
that
really
incident again.
refereeing
He's
the
just, well, no,
game
he's
as
being,
he
I reckon
should
he's
be.
being told. Yeah, like you said, I think they're in his ear. He might have seen it, but like you said, that I think he's like. I think this happens a lot, by the way, in a lot of decisions. I think they're also talking them through what's happening. I've heard the recordings as well, and they say, "Oh, we're checking this, we're checking that." I think they do that in game as well, so you might want to look at that again. And then that's what
And
happens.
also, like, what about the linesman in the Real Madrid? It's a massive game. Puts his flag up when he's told not to. You know
But
what
you're
I mean?
always going to get mistakes. I'm not saying it's not flawed, because you've still got humans in there, and I think you want humans in there because that's what gives the game the thrilling element of
listen,
making mistakes.
and I
Because
get-
if it was played by robots,
I get that, Julian. But we're playing a Wimbledon final, right? Tennis, right? And if they sat there and said to you, right, well, we're playing it today. We're putting the the technology in.
Yeah.
It might work, it might not, but we'll go with it. Some of those decisions might be right.
but the technology does work in,
That's the
in
thing,
VAR.
the technology is right.
We're not
But it
questioning the
doesn't
technology.
work in football.
Yeah,
But
because
it's
there's
the
human-
technology works.
The technology works. So basically, what we're saying here, we want really I think the offside thing, the new way that they can
Technology
do it next
doesn't
season.
work when you've got
No,
when
humans
you've got
decide-
someone
yeah.
not forgetting to put lines in and things
But that's
like that.
not the technology.
Well,
But the new technology should eradicate the line situation, have the 3D, like I said, the
it's
offside
like
stuff.
if you drive, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like putting someone then in a car, right, that's got an automatic driving license and say to them, right, okay, you go and drive.
Well, then
now,
that's not the
stick.
car's fault, then, is it?
But that's
But
what
it's
he's
still,
saying.
it's
He's saying
still
it's
not
drive
right. So what you shouldn't be driving that car then, should you?
No,
if you don't know
you're
how
not
to use the
qualified.
technology.
But then you're taking the discussion to a different point, which is training the referees, not the technology. And all I've been saying is the technology is sound; it can be improved upon.
No
but
one's
it's the
saying
people,
it's not, Julian. But you
you
started. Still human error.
you started this discussion with I would vote to not have it. That's what you said. That's what you said.
Yes, I'm not saying. I am. Look, There's technology when there's goal lines. It's been in for 10 years before.
So are you still holding to that point
I
that you will vote it out?
I want VAR, right? If you want me to say what I vote for now, I want VAR for factical things. I want VAR for goal line technology
and offsides.
And then I want the referee to referee the game.
So you've changed your mind?
No, that's what I said.
No, because you started. You started off saying I will vote for it out.
Yeah, but if it comes to
in or out.
In or out.
Well, I don't,
you said out.
But I don't, if it's in or out, if everything's out, you've got to take goal line technology out of it as well.
No, that's not VAR.
This is that's different. The goal line technology is different.
I will take it apart from offside. I don't like it.
Okay.
As a fan, I don't like it.
He's flip-flopping, isn't he? He keeps changing.
No, I'm not. I think at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, I would have it out.
All right, let's go to this weekend, boys, before we go into something I've got planned for this show. Let's go to this weekend quickly. Final game of the season. I'm assuming Julian's going to be very optimistic, as he always is, but he's got spreadsheets, he's got points tallies that he's predicted and all that. But realistically, we don't see... Are you on my side as well? We don't see...
I'll tell you this now, I'm looking forward to the game because it's still, for me, a celebration of the season that we've done.
100%.
But I am focused now on next season going again. I think that this season's been a fantastic season for us. I think we've going to learn again from it. We've improved from last season. I've seen things in this team this season that I'm very, very proud of, the way that we've gone about it. And we go again next season.
Do you think we'll struggle next season? I know that was the narrative last season. People are going to question me for that question, but like, it does take a lot, I think, as a player to get back on. I know City they do it week in, week out. They've got their mentality monsters. Sorry, season in, season out. But for us as Arsenal players, Arsenal fans, just missing out on it again and again, do you think the players will be hurt?
Makes you more determined. I don't know how Julian feels. I don't know how everybody else feels. But I feel like I can't wait for next season to come again because we've been really, really good this season. James made a great point on the Forever Arsenal last season. If you look at it, take the beginning of the season, you get five defeats. Right? If you have 5 defeats, that ain't enough to win you the league.
Yeah.
If you said at the beginning of the season, you got to get 3 or 4. We've lost too many games, like, you know what I mean. So. I'm with you, Lee. I mean, but at the end of it, it's been I think a season we go again next season. We go really hard at it, and I don't think we're that far off. We're a couple of. I think we've got a couple of big signings that make a couple of our players in that first team squad players, and coming in. But I think we enjoy Sunday. As we did last season. I don't know about you, Jim, but I was proud of, even though we didn't win it last season, I remember the last game of the season, clapped the players and all that.
Win against Wolves.
And we'll do the same this time.
Xhaka to stay in that. So Julian, Lee's obviously looking ahead now. He's obviously going to enjoy the game, but he's looking ahead to next season.
Put that away.
But you don't seem to be looking ahead to next season. You seem like you're looking ahead to this weekend, and there's belief with the
Happy Hammers.
Happy Hammers. If you just want to So let me I don't know where you got that mug from. Do you want to just show the camera? Because
I'm not. Don't be a part of that.
See?
Don't be a part.
Just a second ago, in the Invincible, you said I wouldn't be doing the Spurs thing. I wouldn't be like singing. He's got a mug here with West Ham.
Well, that sums him up. Mug. Mug.
And there's another difference. Yes, I'm looking forward to next season. Looking forward to tour, but I haven't written off this season yet. I know in my heart that there's little chance. I think if you look at the Opta supercomputer again,
for goodness sake,
there's an 86% chance that Manchester City are going to win the league.
So what you feel that it can be done, or be honest?
Well, so we can be realistic. There's a 75% chance that Manchester City are going to beat West Ham.
Right.
There's only a 62% chance that Arsenal are going to beat Everton.
See, that's the other dynamic I don't think fans are actually looking at. I think people think we've beaten Everton already.
It doesn't matter if we beat Everton or not.
But if you look at Everton's, I've been looking at the form of both West Ham and Everton.
Everton's in good form.
Everton's
they haven't lost in their last 5.
In the last 5 games, not only have they not lost, they've won 4 of them and they've drawn 1.
Yeah, and
they've
one of them
beaten
against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool.
Yeah.
their form is excellent. So, okay, we can look at it statistically that we haven't got much chance. But then I look back at all the championships that I've seen, all the Premier Leagues, all the trophies that I've seen Arsenal win. And the one that always stands out for me is Anfield 89. And there was a reason for that. The reason was we weren't expecting it. And the odds were totally against us. So I'm going to sort of turn that round in as much as I'm really excited this week, because instead of us having a procession to winning the league, we're in an opportunity where we could have, look, Anfield 89 will never be replicated, but the closest in my lifetime we could ever get to that is going to be Sunday. And I'm not saying it will happen, but we're now going into a situation where, you've written it off. Even I've looked at the stats, and you can't. You'd have to be.
I think majority of the
you have to be
fan
mad
base
to say that Arsenal are the favourites.
Do you know
to
when
win
the
this.
last time someone won the league from the last game of the season
See?
from being behind?
1989.
Was that only on Liverpool?
That was the last time. So,
Oh, I thought it was City
so
to
if a
keep it
team's
up.
gone into
Yeah,
the league, last game of the season, winning it,
Top.
they stay top.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Apart from the only time
Okay.
it's not happened is in 1989.
Yeah, it's
the
Liverpool.
Before the
difference,
Premier
the
League.
difference,
Yeah,
the difference between that is that Arsenal were that team in second, right? So we had an influence in that game. It don't happen in the Premier
No,
League.
but the point I'm making, as fans, take all the statistics out of it. Take everything we know about Manchester City, about Everton, about West Ham, about Arsenal out of it. We're actually in a situation where, come Sunday, none of us expecting it, even myself, we could have the biggest party ever.
Yeah, it would make it a
other than-
lot sweeter.
It would make it
Make it
unbelievable, because I always
unbelievable.
remember 91, a few years later, and Arsenal won the league without kicking a ball. Just before we played Man United,
Yeah.
Liverpool lost to Forest. So it meant Arsenal won the league. I remember Arsenal running out as champions, and I'd had the elation of 89 a couple of years before, and I remember I was totally underwhelmed.
I know what you're saying here.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It weren't the same.
It wasn't the same at all. Yeah, it was great. Arsenal won the league, but you didn't have that one moment. It was expected. It was only a matter of time for Arsenal going to win the league. And if Arsenal win the league this time, this will be, in my life.
Will it be on par? Will it be on par?
No,
Or-
no, it's not be on par.
I don't
Because
think-
89 is one of the greatest.
How
football
can it be on
stories.
par when you're not there? Well,
I was there.
No, I'm talking about on this game.
Yeah, but
I
you'll
will
be
be
at
there.
the.
No, you
you'll be-
won't. Because
No, I will
what
be
happens
there.
if Arsenal are winning 3-0? What are you doing? Where are you going to be?
Oh, you're
you're
looking
not
at it.
watching. You're not
but
watching
we're
what's
talking,
happening at
we're
West. You're not
talking
watching
about
that.
what's happening in both games.
Well, how are
Is
you
that
watching
Arsenal-
that then?
Well,
You're going to walk out of the con- you're going to walk out of the
We're all
game?
going to know what the score is of the City game while we're in the stadium. We live in the modern world.
I hear your point of what you're saying. You're not going to be there and witness it, but you're going to be. You're going to be there though.
You're going
at
to be.
the
You're
Arsenal. I know
going
you're
to
not
be
watching
there,
the City game,
and you're
but
going to know what's going on in the
you
City
But that
game.
feeling
what
of-
I'm saying is, say if Arsenal winning 3-0, just say for instance, Arsenal
you're going to be
winning
calm. Yeah, you're going to just be
3-0, right? And
enjoying the day.
It's 1-1 or 0-0 at the Etihad. Right? What are you doing? You're going to sit there watching, and they've got the game on the telly in the concourse. You're going to go. You're going to watch the Arsenal, or you're going to go and watch it in the concourse.
No,
Oh,
When
you're
you're
going
at
to
Anfield
watch the Arsenal. You're not
when
watching
you're
Arsenal.
at Anfield that day, like he was, you ain't got to worry about what's going on down the road.
Yeah.
It was just in that moment. It was what was going on. in
But the
that game.
surprise factor of if it happens
And
and
if there's-
celebrating it at
I'd
home.
like to know what Man United fans feel about this. But you remember the game against QPR?
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
They'd
Middlesbrough.
already
yeah,
won
yeah,
the
they
game.
were waiting.
They'd
Yeah,
already
they're
won the game.
Yeah, and they're waiting.
And it
Aguero
was,
scores the last minute.
I think it was 2-1 when they won the game, wasn't it? So they got. So what did those Man United fans do?
They all
They
waited. I think they
were
stayed in the
waiting.
stands. Yeah,
They
they
were
all
in the
stayed in the
stadium.
stands. I've seen the footage. Yeah, they stood in the stands and the players on the pitch, and
So-
they were just waiting
So the point
to see.
I agree. For me, it won't be as probably won't. Look, I don't know what it'll be like. Hopefully, we'll have this discussion next week. But I can't envisage that it's going to be as good as Anfield 89 for the reasons that you said. But I'm pretty certain it's going to be better than 91. The almost invincible season,
Yeah.
and maybe even better than the invincible season,
Wow.
as in the climax. Because with the invincible season, we knew pretty
Yeah,
much from
early.
when we beat Liverpool, I think in April,
Yeah, that we was
that we were going to do it. It's a matter of time. So the point I'm making is that, okay, out of adversity, I mean, you got this Son moment when you thought, well, that was like Michael Thomas going through, we could have won the league, and Son missed it. But it could be like Michael Thomas's moment in the 76th minute where he missed, and that was just the prelude to the greatest moment in the history of the universe.
In the history of the universe. Well, all right. Well, listen.
And also, just to finish off the West Ham part, if it wasn't for West Ham in '89 scoring that, what they perceived to be a
5-1,
consolation
they did
goal
upset that,
right at the end, we wouldn't have won the league because we'd have had to win
Leroy
by
Rossini,
3 goals.
I think
I didn't know. Wow. That I didn't know.
In
I
the
did not know that.
86th minute.
Yeah, that, otherwise it would have been 3-0 we had to have won, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
So yeah, so that,
Yeah.
that
So West
and
Ham,
it was-
West Ham have helped us in the past.
West Ham helped. They did help us out.
Without even knowing it. And just to finish off, a bit of positivity.
Where's that mug?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Pass it around. I'll have a sip.
Yeah, a little bit of positivity. And I've been looking back at different moments.
Comedy hammers.
I think it was March 1998. There was a bookmaker called Fred Dunn.
Yeah.
Who paid
out.
on Manchester United in March, and Manchester United were 12 points clear of Arsenal, and Arsenal went on to win the league, and the bookie paid out.
Twice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Listen,
So look, it could.
there's always a chance, like.
There's
But
always-
as I said,
Well, there's a
like, you know what I mean?
14% chance.
There always is. And football's a funny game. That's what everyone
Yeah.
keeps telling me. I tweeted saying, like, I'm actually hurt the day after that Tottenham City game. I was down.
I've been all right with it. I've been.
He's made his peace.
I want the league this season. I want the
I
league
made
so
my peace
bad.
at Villa. I said at Villa.
Oh, yeah,
come
you
out
did.
of the stadium.
You said this is it,
I
that was
said
it.
that's it. You know what I mean?
You
Like
did.
that.
But you say that after every Arsenal.
No,
You said that at Fulham, yeah. I think you said-
but-
you said that at Fulham as well.
Fulham.
Well, and I was right. I said that at Fulham. I
You got
said
your
for
chopping
Fulham.
board out.
I did say that, you know, like.
But Fulham was, for me, is where we lost
listen,
it.
that game against Fulham, people laugh. You know, I did say people will look back at that game and
Yeah,
go, this
you're
is the
right.
game where it went wrong. Listen, you
It
can
hasn't
go on
gone
that,
wrong, has it?
Or no, as far as the title's
Yeah.
concerned, like, you know.
But yeah.
But listen, the game against Villa, I don't even look at it and go, do you know what? It was that game. The reason Arsenal haven't won the league, in my opinion, is that we've dropped too many points at home.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know.
Both Fulhams.
But if we finish with a win on Sunday, where there's a 62% chance that will happen, we're ending the season on 89 points with more wins than any Arsenal team has ever had in their history.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
a better goal difference
Incredible.
than any Arsenal team have ever had in their history, with only 1 point off the Invincibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And so I don't think you could use the expression where it went wrong.
As far as winning the title.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, which is
I
right
mean, you've
there.
got to look at other areas where it's gone wrong and maybe not so close to home.
Well, we're gonna move forward in a second, but again, that last game, they're not gonna be wearing the new kit, is what is
Oh,
being
yeah, I understand.
rumoured.
Someone, yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna be wearing the new kit, which they normally do after, on that final game of the season. But because in case of Arsenal could win the league, because there is a small chance, they have to be in the kit that's they've played in for that season. I believe that is what has been told, and also they have all the Premier League celebratory I don't know what it is, decorations at both stadiums as well, so there is a chance. I don't think it's gonna happen.
So
but
if Arsenal couldn't win the league Sunday, they could wear that new kit. Is that
they'll
what
wear
you're saying?
wear the kit that they've been wearing this whole season.
No, what I'm saying is, if we would have lost at Man United,
Yeah.
like
Would-
you can wear that new kit. I never knew that.
Yeah, so that's what's being told online. I'm hoping that is factual, but that's what I read. So yeah, right. We are
Is this a surprise?
Yeah, this is where we're going to go into. Listen, Robbie's giving me control of today's podcast, and yes, it's a podcast, but we're going to do something a bit more visual. What you guys don't know is every time we go away, we play games in the car. We always try and let the journey go quicker by playing games. So I thought, I don't normally bring the games. Normally either Lee, Julian's quite good at bringing games to the car around Arsenal. But today's my turn. It's a bit different. Robbie doesn't know about this, but I'm going to do something different. So if you are listening on audio platforms, please come over to YouTube for this section. We're going to play Arsenal charades. And just to ham it up a little bit more, I have a prize. I have £1,000 in cash. Look at Julian's face. I have £1,000 in cash for the winner of this game between you two, okay? Yes, it's the old notes, but it's all still valuable. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do charades because I like to act. People may not know I was a performer. And I'm going to... So whoever wins, what we're going to do...
More chance of Arsenal win the league than us getting £1,000.
No, I'll put it on the table for you lot. So all you have to do...
They're old notes.
Simply, yeah, but you can just change it up in the bank. They're
If they're real. Can I have a look at one just to...
Of course you can. They are real.
Bloody hell, they are real.
can check while we're doing this. Right, so I'm going to do the rules. So simply, Arsenal, Arsenal charades. So it could be any player. I'm going to do, it could be anyone actually within the club, at Arsenal Football Club. I'm probably going to do current because I like to study footballers' mannerisms and people's mannerisms at the club. So I'm going to do an act, a gesture.
It's the current team.
I'm not going to, it could be anyone within the club, okay, at any time. Okay, but I'm probably
So
going to...
it could be back to Herbert Chapman.
Of course, but I'm going to do mannerisms. Mainly, I'm going to stick to what I've seen of this season. So that's going to give you a bit more of a clue. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to do a mannerism, one action, and you have to guess who the player is. We'll start off easy and we'll get harder. You can decide who goes first. Do rock, paper, scissors, who goes first.
I'll go first.
Okay, so we'll start. Here we go. So I'll do one, for example, and you have to guess who it is. So who is this player?
Havertz.
There we go. So this is not the start.
Oh no, well that's...
I
I got it right. I'm 1-0. You didn't say warm up before.
Well, there you go. That's the warm up. Okay, so
I got that right. This
you
is
did.
like coming up in the car the other day.
Okay, well,
everything I said, there was a reason why.
Yeah, but
It's totally
It's
manipulated.
just a warm up. Here we go. We're gonna start. Okay, who's this player, Julian? You're gonna go first. I'm gonna
my
go to Lee for the
nephew,
next one.
who's a Spurs fan, would have got that.
But by the way, just so you know, listen to me. If you get it wrong, it goes to the next person for them to guess. You can't start saying a load of different
Well,
people.
I'd Havertz on the first one.
Okay, we're gonna go to the first one now. Here we go, Julian. You're up first. Who's this? What player is that?
So if I get it wrong, is there any?
It will go to Lee to guess.
Yeah, but and if I say I don't know, Lee doesn't get the guess.
Then it goes back to you.
But then if I don't know anyway, I suppose it's.
It back and forth.
Oh, okay. So
Here we go.
there's a point for me to guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
What player is that?
Do it once more.
Nah, come on, like.
Come on, have a guess.
All right, I'll have a guess.
It's easy. We're starting easy.
Martinelli.
Lee, who is it?
I would say Odegaard.
1 point to Lee there. He has guessed it right. He
flicks
flicks
his
his
hair,
hair and he does the
Something
shimmy
that
right.
me and you don't do.
No, don't notice. Was that a guess?
No, because he flicks his hair. That's the only
Right.
thing I see of it. I don't know what
Okay.
the running bit
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, it's going to be in game. It's what he does in game. Okay, next one. Here we
okay.
go. This is
Right,
for you,
so
Lee.
he does it in game.
So you're one point up, Lee. This is your
Okay.
turn now to guess. Here we go.
Well, the only one I could think of is Saka, but
It's a point to Lee. He's 2-0 up. Bukayo Saka, there is the limp there, but he's been superb this season. There's the limp. It's 2-0 to Lee.
I was going to say Partey.
We're going to go.
No, because Partey's
He's injured, okay?
Yeah, Partey's injured. So
How
how
can we're trying to
that
make
not
this
be
game swift. We'll
Yeah,
go to the next
I know,
one.
but
Here we go. Next one.
that could have been
For you.
Partey.
For you, Julian. Let's do
Trossard.
easy one.
Yeah.
Give him an
All right,
easy
I'll
one.
give it-
Give him an
thank you.
easy
All
one.
right, I'll give it that
Give
one.
him an easy one.
All
Okay.
right.
Next, back to Lee. Here we go. Who runs like this?
Martinelli, but I ain't got a clue.
Spot on.
I was going to
Martinelli.
say
Of course, he
Martinelli.
runs with his head. That look, there you go, Martinelli. Good. This is good. This is good.
It's not good. That's I was.
Was you thinking Martinelli? But
I
had
was going
no
to say,
clue.
yeah,
I had no
I know,
clue.
and that's why it gave me confidence.
Okay, next one. Bit trickier. Julian, here we go.
Bit trickier.
Yeah, that was the one.
Here we go.
Go on, I'm not despondent. Okay. Well, it's one of
One of
it's
two.
one of two.
But
So
who's more?
So I would say it's got to be Gabriel.
Yeah,
So he's the
I
more
would say
he's more
Gabriel.
physical.
Very good. See,
I
pay
would say
attention.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. Okay. That is. I forgot what score on.
That's
3-2.
3-2. That's 3-2. Look at each other.
My mistake.
Okay. Next player will go to Lee. Here we go.
The only thing I can think of is his son tanning himself, so it's got to be Benjamin White. But like, it's ridiculous if it is.
It's Ben White.
I'll take that. I'll take it.
It's very good. It's very good. Very good. Okay. Julian, back to you. We've got only a few more left. Here we go.
Well, it's got to be someone that organises. That's, for me, Jorginho.
I'm going to give you that. It was actually Mikel Arteta, but I'm going to give you
Yeah.
George because I said it could be anyone at the club. I'm going to give him the point. I'm going to give him because he doesn't always get, you know,
He organises, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But
He's
that was
organiser.
actually Mikel Arteta, but also could be Jorginho as well. Okay, I think I'm going to go with.
Can you get
What?
one and it ain't the other? But go on,
Because
it's a bit of fun.
It'd be the same thing. If it's a bit of fun, can I have the grand?
And then finally,
Oh, I can't lose.
this could be the last. This could be the tiebreaker.
I'm 4-3 up. I can't lose.
This one, well, it could go. If you don't get this right, I might
go
go
arms
really.
each.
I might go
Go
really
on, what do you want
difficult.
to do a deal?
I might go really difficult. No, let me do two more.
I'm really difficult, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
we've got to make this interesting. Here we go. Right, last. Let's go. Okay. Okay.
Why don't you do like, you know, do Edu and then tell me it's Petit? Why don't you do that?
I have a few, but I do want to make it difficult. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. It's
The only one that I can think is Saliba, but
it's Raya.
It's got it in the last minute of the final one. It is David Raya. Makes it a draw, which means no one gets the money because it's a draw there. Thank you very much. So that was it for football.
Well,
charades.
hang on, we can
Well
split
done.
it.
It was a draw.
It could have been Aaron Ramsdale.
No,
like,
no,
He put his foot over it.
Exactly, and he waits.
Yeah,
and
very
relaxes.
good.
Well done, Julian.
Very good.
Well, hang on, we should split that.
You should split the grand.
Yeah.
No, keep it.
Thank you
What?
very much. Right, well,
Hey,
anyway.
how can you have that when you said Jorginho when it was Mikel Arteta?
I'll tell you, yes, that is he's
All
right.
of that.
Well, if Man City
I
could
remember
win,
that when
win
we.
the league.
I remember that when we're doing.
I said we'd split it.
We're doing an away game.
Oh,
or
look,
something.
you just contribute to charity. That's what we all want, isn't it?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Julian. I'll contribute your winnings to charity.
we
Thank you very
could have
much.
got a shirt.
Which Robbie could have left for us today to
Yeah,
have a look at,
yeah.
but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd settle for a shirt. Yeah, that's all right.
But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have fitted us, would it?
Yeah, mine does.
Well, I'm talking about Robbie's one.
Oh, right.
one.
Well, we could both get in it. Maybe we'd cut that bit.
Right, and on that note, I think we'll come to the end of the Invincible podcast with Julian Lee. Thank you for joining me.
We haven't done our predictions. Right?
Oh, do you do sorry, I'll be honest. I'm a fill-in here. Predictions for Sunday.
Well, for Arsenal.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
predicting
yeah.
Man City.
Well,
obviously-
that one as well.
Yeah.
Let's predict that
Well,
one as well.
yeah. Why not? Why not? It's all on those two games.
All right, so I predict a 3-1 Arsenal victory.
3-1 Arsenal victory. Okay, Lee.
3-0. I think we'll win 3-0.
We beat them 5-1 on the last day of the season as well. It's a few years ago. I think it's 2022. I can't remember. I was at the game, but yeah, 5-1 was the last time when we played them on the final day of the season. You've gone 3-0. You've gone 3-1. I feel like we'll win, but it might cause us some problems. It's 2 or 3-1.
They haven't got many injuries. They're on form. They're actually league position is slightly skewed because of the points deductions that they've had. They're not as bad as I think they
They are a good side.
And
They're
you
good
look
side.
at the two forwards.
Do you know
Calvert-Lewin.
you say like they're in
Calvert-Lewin's good,
they're in
yeah.
good form? Do you know Chelsea? Like they've won.
No, they haven't
They've
lost.
lost 1 in 10 or 12 games or something like that, maybe even more. 1 in 14, and that game was against us.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've been
All right.
on a pretty decent.
Yeah, they're on good
run.
form. They're on good form as well.
Smashed them 5-0.
I think I'm going to go 3-2.
3-2.
3-2 is quite a nervy game. I don't really want it to be a 3-2. I just
All
think,
right, what are you going to West Ham?
yeah, West Ham City. Where are you going?
Look, it's so difficult. You don't want to say what
Well,
the
I'll
obvious.
say
I
it.
mean, the obvious is
I'll say 4-0.
yeah. The obvious is that,
4-0.
Yeah.
but then you want to enjoy the moment. I want to enjoy the next few days.
But it's a score prediction. It's not like it's.
No.
Listen, if you
No.
predict 1-1, you ain't enjoying that Sunday. I tell you, like,
I'm
it's
gonna
going to
no,
be an
I'm-
absolute nightmare.
No, I'm going to predict it. I'm going to predict a 0-0 draw.
Oh. Can I say, like,
Go on.
would you prefer to go in at half time and it's 3-0,
What, to be put out your misery?
or like in the 80th minute they score? Would you like to be like still involved in it after 80 minutes, or would you just want to be like, oh, it's done and just enjoy it?
No, the last minute. I'll go. I like the last minute.
Yeah, for you just want to. I know what you're like, because every time Arsenal even concede a corner, it's done. It's done. That's it. It's over. That's how you deal with things. I'm the complete opposite.
So
is that I want to string out my fantasies for as long as possible.
Right.
So even if they score their goal in injury time, we've taken it as far as we can.
I get that. I get that scenario. I get that scenario. I just want to say that, you know, that Man United got a corner with about 2. I can't say no more. I can't say no more.
I've seen.
I can't say no more.
Is that what happens? Seriously, when you're at Old Trafford?
Yeah, I can't say no more of this. I can't watch no more. I might have to go. I can't say no more. But yeah, he wants to enjoy that last game. Right up to the last one, he wants to enjoy it.
Typical Julian. Right, well, listen, that is it. We've given our predictions. You said 0-0. You said 4-0.
I'd love Julian to be right.
Yeah.
0-0.
I'm gonna.
Do you imagine if our game is finished? I don't know. Just for instance, you know, scenario there, and I don't want you know, we have sort of won our game and there's 5 minutes left and West Ham maybe 1-0 up.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if I could watch our game. I'd have to go into the concourse or something and watch it.
You have to just.
What would you do?
Because you're going to know about it. Everyone in that stadium is going to know about it. You're not going to be the only one with a phone or the only one.
Well, I never get reception in the phone in the Emirates.
Yeah, but I do.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
You do.
Yeah, there's Wi-Fi. Anyway, by the way, listen, it's gonna be an interesting scenario. I don't even know. I'm gonna be here on the watch along. You guys are gonna be at the game, and we'll have a complete check on. I think both games might even be up when we're here in the studio. But it'll be interesting. Can Arsenal do it? It'll be interesting to know. Hopefully, you guys play along.
Arsenal can't do
with the
anything about
charades.
it.
They can't.
No.
Well, hopefully, City. We sent Arsenal. Let's hope.
Can Arsenal and my second team, West Ham, do the business?
Well, let's hope so. We'll end it on that note. Thank you for listening and watching along to the Invincible podcast. Like the video if you like the video, and we'll see you again very soon. It'll be Robbie in place of me. Take care.
The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.